Why am I not on the screen? Oh no. Oh, there I am. Hello,
Okay.
Danger Nattles. Oh, I need to increase the size. So the words can actually be seen in the stream. There we go. Anyways, Danger Nattles, we are doing Creepy Horror Stories. A series I decided to do on YouTube. Yeah. And basically, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna private the old ones, except for ones that were just stories made by my friends, and redo them because the old videos really bad.
That's fair.
So yeah, so basically, if there's a story I want me to read, I'll go ahead and read on stream. Yeah. Also, when I was thinking about doing the stream, I was thinking about what are 3 creepypasta stories that I don't want Hollywood to touch. And I actually do have my top 3. Would you like to hear them?
Sure.
Uh, the third one, the Harbinger experiment. It, I don't want to spoil it because I'm probably going to eventually reread it. It, it is so creepy and has a really good twist at the end, and it is well known. But the next 2 are even more well known than that. I'm pretty sure you know them. Luckily, number 1 I know for a fact will never be done. But number 2, the Russian sleep experiment. I'm pretty sure you've
I,
heard of that one. Huh?
I said yeah.
Yeah, I don't want Hollywood touching that one. Because I know they're looking at places that have stories and whatnot to make movies now. That's the thing. They've been doing that.
That's because they ran out of ideas a long time ago and they realized recycling the same thing over and over isn't really working, but they want it to.
Yeah. Yeah. And the last one, thankfully, because one company I know will never let it happen. The one creepypasta I don't want ever be made a movie because the story is so damn good. NES Godzilla.
That's fair. Yeah, Godzilla, the owner of the Godzilla series, would never allow that.
Yeah, Toho. Now, if Toho decides to make it, I know for a fact it'll be good.
Yeah, but
Because,
they never will.
yeah, because, like, they know how to make a Godzilla horror movie. I mean, just look at fucking Shin Godzilla. Jesus fucking Christ. That thing was horrifying.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yeah, if Toho decides to do it, absolutely. Hollywood, fuck off. Okay, before we go to our actual creepypasta rating, I'm still pissed off at Hollywood right now because basically, with the Godzilla movies as of late, with what they're making, not Toho, Toho's doing great, but Hollywood, basically, all of Godzilla's threats, they have to have Kong with him to beat it.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. That's why all the Godzilla movies coming out say is like Godzilla and Kong versus Godzilla and Kong. Kid you not. That's what they're doing.
I think I know why they're doing it, but it's stupid and you won't like it.
More money.
No,
Go ahead.
because King Kong symbolizes America.
Yeah, I can see that. And set, and even though I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna dread watching Godzilla and Kong Supernova because a lot of merch of late has been having Destroyer being shown up in it, which is starting to get me to think that's gonna be the enemy in that movie. But you and I both know if Kong tries to fight Destroyer, he's going to die.
Yeah, But you know they want America inside there and they want America to do good.
Yeah, like you watched the movie with me. Destroyer killed 2 Godzillas. What is Kong gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kong is literally a gorilla. Also, I never understood why he stands for the United States. He's not even from the United States. He was literally stolen.
I mean, countries did do that in the past.
That doesn't make it better.
I know. America's no
Like
exception to
America
that.
stole a lot of people and animals they shouldn't have. Only America.
Oh, I wasn't talking about animals, Jerry. Mine was more
I
morbid.
know.
Yeah. He's away from my terrible
But
joke.
King Kong symbolizes animals.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna turn on some fans. Getting a little warm in here. I'll be back. Alright. So you don't hear any fans, right?
No.
Okay, good. Alright. You ready for Pokemon Last Silver?
Mm-hmm.
This is a very well-known one. In fact, I actually in a horror game stream I played the creepypasta version of it, like the game. So, yeah. Anyways, Pokemon Last Silver. You see, I am a simple college student living alone in an apartment. I was very enthusiastic about the release of Pokemon Heart Gold Star Soul Silver here in the States. I have purposely locked myself out of all the media and the internet aside for school purposes. That means no 4chan, no slash VV slash, no Bulbapedia, etc. As I was busy with the school year and being poor at the time, I wasn't able to buy Soul Silver on its launch date. After my school year ended, I ordered Soul Silver on Amazon. However, it would take a week for it to arrive. I decided that during that time, I would replay my Crystal version on my Game Boy Color. However, I realized that long ago, my mom threw it away because I told her that the save went dead, and I was very upset about it then. She also threw away my silver version, so all I have is my Game Boy Color. As such, I set out to GameStop and bought a used silver version, as it's the only Pokemon game left that they have for the GBC. $10, fairly cheap. I went home and started up for a nostalgia trip. However, that's where things started getting bizarre, and most likely the reason why you read this. The Game Freak logo started up as normal, but it just froze there. I thought the cart was just errored or something, so I turned it off and on. The same thing happened. I tried pressing A to start over and over, and all of the buttons. Eventually the logo vanished, and there was a black screen for about 5 seconds. Suddenly, rather than going to the usual menu screen, I was already in the game in a previous save file, which was odd as I was expecting all of the cards to have been wiped by the poor battery. Either way, I wasn't planning, as I would have chosen to continue option to see what the previous guy did anyways. First off, I checked the trainer's information. His name was just ... He didn't have much originality. I checked his profile and apparently he had 999 hours put into the game, with all 16 badges, 99,999.9 Pokédollars, and all 251 Pokemon on the Pokédex. Seeing as he apparently had Mew and Sylvie logged, also, I am guessing that he either used the game Genie or was a really hardcore Pokemon player back then. I checked this Pokemon to see what a badass team he has. To my surprise, I saw 5 unknowns and a 6th Pokemon named Hurry. I'm thinking that this must be some cruel joke by the person who last played this game, but I decided to check the profiles of those Pokemon anyways. As expected, they were different letters of unknown, all level 5. I was a little bit shaky with my unknown alphabet at the time, but I identified the word spelled out to be leave. As for the 6th Pokemon, it turned out to be a Cyndaquil. Mind you, this is before they were individualized Pokemon icons. The Cyndaquil looked normal, but it was level 5 with only 1 HP left, with the only 2 attacks, Leer and Flash. I don't know why they named him Hurry, but at the time, I just disregarded it. The most eerie thing was that despite my volume being at max, none of the Pokemon he had said their usual cries, just pure silence. Having enough of the team, I closed it. I was parked at what appears to be a room inside Bellsprout Tower. However, for some reason, there was no NPCs around. Even more eerie was that the pillar in the middle didn't move at all, as it was just leaning on its side. There was no music at all, and there was no exit or ladder, or at least I thought there wasn't. Walked around for 5 minutes, but can't seem to find a way out. There's certainly not a room I've seen in the Bellsprout Tower before. I tried checking for items for an escape rope, but the bag was completely empty. There wasn't any wild Pokemon either. Finally, managed to find a ladder, which turned out to be behind the pillar. The screen turned black, and the music finally started playing. And a sudden chill as I realized that melody I heard to be the theme you hear when you listen to the radio in Elf Ruins, where unknowns are at. I immediately realized that it wasn't a loading transition, but rather I was in a dark room and would need flash. Before I took care of that, though, I immediately checked my Pokegear to change the radio to something more pleasant. But it turns out there was no radio card, or even a phone, nor time cards. There was only a map card in which gold, from earlier, and I'll call it gold from now on, was just walking in the midst of black. I recall that Cyndaquil had its flash, so I turned off my Pokegear and made Cyndaquil use flash. I didn't see any messages saying Hurry has used flash, or anything like that. The room just became lit just like that, and I soon regretted it. The room was a chilling blood red, with a linear gray path heading south. The ladder I used to go up such down was not there at all. I had no choice but to head south. The screen got darker every 20 steps I made, until I finally made it to the end, which appears to be a sign. I read the sign which said, "Turn back now." Suddenly I was asked to answer yes/no, but there was no questions asked. I chose yes, as I do not know what it was asking. The screen went black again, making a ladder climb sound. The unknown radio music stopped, and in a few seconds was replaced with a not as creepy Poke Flute radio music. I was in another dark room, but I held my breath and used flash again. Suddenly it said that Hurry has fainted, which was odd since I recalled there was no status conditions like poison on him, and I clearly wasn't in a battle. I took my Pokemon quickly and suddenly he's no longer in my party. In fact, after a bit investigating, none of my Pokemon are there, but instead all replaced with level 10 unknown. I did the same thing as before and spelled out the unknown. My then team of unknowns spelled, "He died." Either way, after that creepy change, the room was lit to reveal myself in a very small room, and it appears to be only 4 squares big. The walls of the room were gray bricks, as if it was inside something that was hollowed out. Outside that room appears to be a bunch of graves similar to the ones in Pokemon Red/Blue. I walked around the small room and pressed A, but nothing happened. I've already concluded that this was clearly a hacked game, and some sadistic fuck sold it to GameStop. However, my curiosity kept me going. I checked the trainer profile of ... again, only to find out that the sprite of gold was missing his arms. He also seems to appear less smug, but rather seems more sad and empty in a way I do not know how to describe. For some reason, it also announced that he has 24 badges, which was clearly impossible. After a few minutes of aimless wandering, my character suddenly spun and did the escape rope spinning animation. Instead of flying up, though, my character spun downward slowly, as if sinking. After that scream, the music stopped. After finally landing, the overall sprite of gold is colored differently now. Instead of the usual red color he dons, he appears completely white now, including his skin, as if he came straight from the colorless Game Boy games placed into a colored background of the Game Boy Color. I checked his profile, and now, while he while now is as white as his overworld sprite, he's lost his legs, and he's what appears to be a bloody tears from his eyes. It also says he now has 32 badges, which now starts to disturb me, as this change of number seems to represent something important. I also checked my Pokemon, which this time contains 5 unknowns and a level 100 Celebi without a nickname. The unknown are this time level 15 and spelled out dying. I checked the Celebi's profile and it was a shiny Celebi, except there was only half of the sprite. 1 leg, 1 arm, 1 eye. It only has 1 attack. Perish Song. The area I was in itself was the Sprout Tower with a movable pillar as before, except everything is apparently red now. I walked north for what felt like forever. Eventually, I finally encountered some generic men and women NPC. They are all lined up to one side, just facing the long, slantish pillar in the middle. They were also white, and nothing happens when I tried speak to them. I kept on going north until eventually the pillar finally appears chopped off, with a transparent red in that spot. I went up to red, and without even pressing A, I was suddenly engaged, and finally in a battle. Music starts again, which it sounds like the unknown radio music again, but played backwards. Golden's back sprite matches his front, one with the bloody eyes, white skin, and lack of arms, while Red Sprite was the same as before in GSC, except transparent. Text simply said, "Wants to battle," as if he has no name, and both of us only have 1 Pokemon each. Which is weird, as I swore I had 6 with the unknowns. A shiny Celebi came out conveniently with half a sprite for back sprite also. The shiny noise animation was different, as the sounds it made sound like multiple screech attacks used consecutively. Red sent out a seemingly normal male Pikachu, except he is at level 255, and his sprite seems sad and has tears in his eyes. Rather than the usual fight item Pokemon run menu, I was only given the option to use attacks. Since Celebi only has 1, I chose it. Naturally, since Pikachu was level 255, he went first. Pikachu used Curse, lowering his speed and increasing his other stats. I'm not even sure if Pikachu could use Curse. Celebi used Parasol. In 3 turns, Both Pokemon get KO'd. Not like I have a choice. At this point, it didn't even go back to the fight menu, as Smile just continued without me. Also noticed that there were no animations at all for some reason. Pikachu used Flail, which didn't do much damage despite his level, and boosts as his health was maxed. Selby used Parasol. Nothing happens as it was already used. Pikachu used Frustration, which did a shit ton of damage, knocking Selby down to less than 10 HP. Selby used Pain Split, which surprised me as Selby didn't even have the attack in the first place. Now Selby and Pikachu have about 150 HP. Pikachu used Mean Look. Not like that did anything. As expected, due to the effects of Parasong, my Selby fainted, except in the text that said Selby has died. Instead of the ordinary drop-off screen animation, Selby back sprite just vanished. For some reason, Pikachu was still up, even with the Parasong, and it didn't count as my loss. Pikachu used one more different attack beyond the 5 attack limit. Pikachu used Destiny Bond. Afterwards, it said Pikachu has died, with a slow fade-out animation. Apparently, I was the winner as a transparent red sprite showed up and said, that. At that point, I just freaked out as that transparent red sprite was suddenly beheaded, leaving nothing but his transparent body. The battle then ended at that point and faded out along with the music. I'm back in the overworld with another change to the gold sprite. He's now as transparent as Red's overworld sprite. I quickly checked Gold's profile, where this time the only thing remains of him is his head with the transparent skin. His head was zoomed in a bit, showing a black void in his eyes. It now stated that he now has 40 badges. Then what the fuck? Sorry about that. My screen went black for a second there, that was weird. Anyways. Now stating that he now has 40 badges. I then back out and checked my Pokemon. They were all level 20 shiny unknown, which then spelled out Fred no more. I was at what I now know is next to the end. There was apparently no music playing. For some reason, I still felt like something was there that could be heard. I was back in my room in New Burnt Town. If you finally get to play this game properly, but who am I kidding? I knew that sadistic fuck must have done something. I walked around my room to interact with things, as I'm a bit afraid to go down the stairs and see what was waiting down there. Note, I said walked, as while the background was moving. Gold was not moving his transparent limbs at all while doing so, just floating like those ghosts you see in Diamond and Pearl. As expected, the radio, computer, and TV did not work, so I had no choice but go down the stairs. I ended up in the same lower level room of my house. Everything appears normal, except Mom is at home. After failing to interact with anything in this room, I decided to go outside. To my surprise, that door leading outside at the south didn't work, and instead I just walked straight through it to a void. I continue moving south to see what the fuck was going on. My house vanishes as I head south into the void. It was creepy as when I entered the void, the outline of on Gold's transparent sprite turned white to contrast with the pitch black. Eventually, I reached a white area and Gold sprite turned black and transparent again. I continued south without thinking of stopping at all. After a long trek south, I finally encountered something. It was Gold's regular sprite. I talked to it. He said, "Goodbye forever." Notably with the space in between forever and ... and vanished. As what happened, it said question mark question mark question mark used nightmare, which at that point I could not deny that being possible. Gold did another escape group rope animations spinning, slowly downwards like before. And now back into the small, hollowed out room surrounded by graves earlier, or at least I say I was back there, as there was no sprite anymore. I tried to walk around, but nothing moved. Not even wall bumpy noise. I checked my trainer profile with absolutely no gold sprite left. It said I have 0 badges, and all pictures of the Johto gym leaders at the bottom were replaced with skulls. I checked my Pokemon, which were all level 25 unknown. As expected, it spelled out a phrase that I dared to read. I'm dead. As soon as I went back to the overworld, the room I supposedly was in was then covered with the same blocks as the walls. I didn't figure out what exactly the room was when the final text was said. R-I-E. The room was a big grave surrounded by other graves. Gold had already been dead. He died presumably a few years after he defeated Red. He was a young trainer who, despite his efforts in collecting so many badges and attempts at becoming a Pokemon Master, still unable to avoid an inevitable fate of death. His efforts were eventually forgotten by the next generation. I was unable to escape from the text no matter what I pressed. I tried resetting the game and the same thing happened, in which I then finally decided to give up on that horrible nightmare. After that experience, I never looked up that gimmick unknown the same way again. They say that the only first generation have folks, tales, and legends. The second generation has shown me how unpleasant the truth can be. I eventually enjoyed Soul Silver immensely, but I still can't unthink what that rigged game has told me. And that's it. That's it of Lost Silver. What you think, Jerry? Also, hi,
I
Rando.
never really thought about how unrealistic the story was until I
Yeah.
really started thinking about the hours spent on the game.
Yeah.
Uh, like, realistically, half of their day is spent sleeping because they typically go to sleep at, like, what, 8, 9,
Yeah.
maybe earlier. And then they wake up early, but it's to get ready for school, to get, like, to brush your teeth again and to get dressed and all that, and eat breakfast and go out there. And after you come back from school, which is like in the afternoon by then, you still have to do your homework.
Yeah.
So how much time do they really have to play that between that uh and dinner? Only a few hours at most. And the total years, I mean the total like days of like pure playtime in hours is around 42 days. How many years do you think that would take?
Multiple.
Yeah. I mean, in the summer and other like break times, they would be able to have more hours to play it, but I just realized how unrealistic the level of hours they played was.
Yeah.
After realizing that, I couldn't really quite get into the story again.
Well, that's probably why they mentioned Game Genie.
Hmm? Oh, they
Yeah,
cheated with games.
yeah, you know what a Game Genie is, right?
Yeah. You can add all sorts of things to there. You can add badges you never earned. You can add
Mhm.
coins so you can actually buy things. You can add Pokemon you never earned.
Yeah. The
Game
game
Genies used to be very popular.
yeah. The Game Genie, the prequel to the Action Replay, which the Action Replay was a prequel to just hacking your device.
Eh, it's more like someone else built the hacking device and you bought it. The hacker made money.
Yeah. Funny enough, I actually bought an
Some
Action Replay from GameStop once.
you did.
Now, granted, I did buy an Action Replay, but that was only because I just wanted shiny Pokemon. That's all I used it for, just to get shinies. I didn't like get infinite money, infinite rare candies, infinite Pokemons. No, I just got shinies. That's all I did. I wanted to see the shinies. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Nowadays, I actually hunt for them, and I hate it. All right, we all ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Making sure. All right. This is also another Pokemon one called Disabled. When it comes to Pokemon, my favorites have to be Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff. When I was a little girl, I'd dream of having a puffy Jigglypuff. I even used to have a bunch of Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff plushies. They would surround my pillow each night. I would cuddle with a different one, just to make sure they each got some love. Sorry, excuse me. Anytime my Jigglypuff or Wigglytuff used to sing, I would hum the little tune with them, thinking it made my chances better for the opposing Pokemon to fall asleep. I was very naive back then, but it was blissful innocence, to be honest. Hell, I even played Jigglypuff in the Brawl games. I didn't care if anyone else didn't like her, I did. So when I got my hands on Pokemon Soul Silver when it first came out, I, of course, made it my mini mission to find a Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff. I went through the game waiting for Puffs and Tuffs to show up. I encountered an occasional trainer with a Puff for Tuff, but I soon found out that Jigglypuffs can only be caught in one set area, which I later found to be the game's Safari Zone. And Wigglytuffs cannot be found in the wild at all for me. At that point, Safari Zone was not active for me, so I was stuck waiting a little while longer to capture my beloved Puff. After a week or so of battling and schoolwork, Safari Zone was finally available. I went there once I had a chance to go and went on a hunt for Jigglypuff. And of course, it was not easy. I ran into maybe 8 the first trip and lost all 8 of them. I recall my DS Lite a cheater. Next day, though, I finally caught my first Jigglypuff. I happily named her June and put her in my party ASAP. It took some time to get her up to the level of the rest of my team, but well worth it for me. I even kept her singing since it felt so nostalgic to hear that lovely tune again. Sadly, school got busy for me for a while, so I was forced to put my game on hold. But once I got my free time back, I went right back to work, making sure all my Pokemon loved me, especially my June. But I still didn't have my Wigglytuff. I didn't lose June, so I thought about getting an already evolved Wigglytuff, since Safari has proven it dislikes me. So I sent the call out on a wireless trade asking for a Wigglytuff, any gender and any level. I wasn't picky at the time, and now I wish I had been picky. In exchange for a new Wigglytuff, I put out a wonderfully bred Totodile that had some killer moves, even for a level 6. I waited for hours thinking someone would see the quality right away and send a trade. I waited days, maybe someone would just happen to want a Totodile to raise. Nearly 2 weeks had passed, and I still had no response. I had already given up hope and was ready to use a Moonstone on June. I ended up checking one last time to make sure, and I wanted to get my Totodile back somehow. If no one was going to take them, but it didn't send me to the main menu for the wireless trade. Instead, I got a dramatic evolving music, and a Pokeball came flying from the top screen to the bottom. Finally, I got my Wigglytuff. I quickly logged out to see my new friend, a female Wigglytuff, level 26. The name was a bit odd though. Disabled. In all caps. I didn't get why someone would name their Wigglytuff that, but I've had stranger names for Pokemon. I just wish I could have changed it, but for some reason, you could never change the name of traded Pokemon. Its information was a bit odd, but I was never one of those kids of details or learning the meanings behind those details. Gloomy nature, and it only knew one move, Sting. I didn't recall ever seeing Gloomy before, but I had seen Timid, so I figured if they can be shy, they can be sad too. Though, you would have to wonder what Pokemon would be Gloomy, and the fact it only knew Sing did bug me. I would have been nice if the previous trainer left some more moves, but I had some nice TMs to try on it anyway. Despite the off information, I was eager to try out the Wigglytuff in battle. I checked my character's bag and picked the best TM I was almost sure would work. I ended up picking Hidden Power, Swagger, and Explosion. I headed over to the nearest patch of grass and walked around aimlessly looking for a fight. The battle music came on, and the Pokemon was a Ponyta. I picked Fight and used Sing. Just to make Wigglytuff's first fight was easy, it failed. I know Sing didn't always work, but I didn't think anything of it. Ponyta used Tail Whip. It was cute, but only lowered my defense. My turn again, so I used Hidden Power just to see if I was in the right place for it. I wasn't, since I barely made a nick in Ponyta's HP. I used Tail Whip again. I figured that the game was using the same trick to lower level Pokemon used. This time I tried Sing again. The screen acted like it had to use Sing, but there was no sound. Sting was disabled. I just stared at my screen. How was its thing unusable? Was it a stupid trick? My Pokemon used Tail Whip again, but then Wigglytuff shook a bit like it was suffering from an effect. I thought I saw the sprite change, but then I realized that I probably got a glitchy Pokemon. I cussed it a bit, pissed that I lost a good Pokemon for a hacked one. I didn't want this one messing with my game, so I picked Run. Disable was to fight. You could not leave the battle. Oh, come on! I remember saying out loud, I kept thinking that it was probably about to ruin my game. I thought Ponytail was about to attack this turn, but it didn't. Its little sprite shook like it was poisoned. Ponytail was frozen in fear. It might not attack. I knew it was getting too weird. I tried to pick Run again, but another weird text came up. The stable was to fight. You cannot lead the battle. I didn't even see that the text was different this time. I was able to pick up another option. I couldn't run, so I fought. I tried Hidden Power again. Hidden Power was disabled. I had to pick another one. I tried Swagger. Swagger was disabled. I was doing this to its moves. All the questions popped up in my head, one after another. What did that guy who gave this Wigglytuff do? I have to escape. I can't keep this Pokemon. I knew I could just turn the game off. I wanted to see what was happening. I wanted to see what was wrong with my Wigglytuff. I was stuck with only two options, Sing and Explosion. Sing was already disabled from the past attempts, so I could only use Explosion. That move would take out the Wigglytuff and Ponyta too, ending the battle. I thought that maybe it was a good thing. Explosion was disabled. I didn't even have a chance to react before more text came up. Disable tried using Sing. Sing was disabled. It was doing it on its own. Sprite started shaking a bit more than before, more obviously. Ponyta is frozen in fear. It can no longer escape from battle. I felt my heart start to pound. Maybe this is what the Ponyta was feeling at the time. Disable tried using Sing. Sing was disabled. 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 Each time the text passed, Wigglytuff's sprite turned dark and darker. Disable used Struggle. I watched in horror as Wigglytuff used Struggle like it had no other moves to use. Most of the time, it didn't even hit the Ponyta. Just Wigglytuff, like it was hurting itself. Ponyta finally fled from the battle and the sequence ended. I wish I could have gone with it. Since Wigglytuff was the first in my party, it was walking off along with me on screen. Its colors looked dirty and red. Could be seen on it. I turned my character to talk to it. Dot, dot, dot. It didn't say anything to me. I tried again, becoming strangely desperate to figure out what was happening to the Wigglytuff. I was so joyed to finally have. Dot, dot, dot. I just wanted to sing. I wasn't sure who was talking. Maybe it was a voiceover, I thought. I tried talking to it again. Why? Why? Why can't I sing? Just sing. Sing. Each time I spoke to it, its crying grew softer and softer, like it was a toy breaking. I began to feel bad for Wigglytuff and headed back to the city to heal it. It was the least I could do before I turned my game off, taking it back to the time when I just barely got it, before I used it. Sadly, we didn't get far. We encountered another Pokemon battle, another Ponyta. I picked Run, but just like last time, the same one was the fight. You cannot escape the battle. No one had time to react to what happened during this fight. Ponyta was too slow for some reason, and was stuck in battle. Options menu did not come up for me. Stay able to use Sing. Sing, 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 sing. There was so much text it moved off the box itself. It was finally glitching out, I thought. Stay able to use Struggle. It struggled, and struggled, and struggled, 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 and struggled, and struggled, and struggled, and struggled, and struggled, struggled, and struggled, and struggled. With each struggle, Wigglytuff took more and more damage, though this time the Wild Ponyta got hit more this time too. The Wild Ponyta fled. I thought the fight was over, but the battle screen stayed up. I began mashing the buttons, thinking maybe it was going to talk again. I needed to press A or B. The screen faded and changed to an evolving screen. I couldn't speak. My heart sank. Felt my eyes water. The once normal Wigglytuff sprite faded. His left ear was torn off. A red pixel covered the broken egg. Its tired eyes were pitch black, with only a red dot to show its pupils. Even its mouth had red coming from it, like blood was dripping out. Why can't I sing? Why? Why? Can you sing? Yes or no? I picked a no. I just wanted to end. You're lying. You can sing. Give me your sing. Yes or no? I hit no about 4 or 5 times. Sing, sing. Speakers let out a high pitched screech, making me drop my DS to get it away. I ran out of my room and called a friend. I couldn't touch the game after that. A friend came over, saying as I could not hide the panic I was feeling. She laughed at me, but I told her I wasn't touching the game. She picked it up for me and looked at it, shaking her head as she turned it off and closed it. She handed it back to me. I think you broke it, she told me, leaving my room, heading for the living room. She stayed with me for the rest of the day and night. Couldn't get that image out of my head. The next morning, with my friend sitting next to me, I put the Wigglytuff up for trade. Found someone else offering a Cyndaquil in exchange for a Wigglytuff. Hit the button as hard as I could, wanting it to hurry up. The trade went through. I still had that Cyndaquil. Whoever had him named him Hurry. And that's the end for Disabled.
Oh no.
Yeah, you can make a request at some point, random. I got some stories to read, and if we have time, we can look at them. But yeah. So, what did you think about this one?
That one is still pretty good. The hurry thing at the end. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I made the stress voice good enough, though, for Wigglytuff.
It's fine. How Wigglytuff can you really sound?
Yeah, creepy. Yeah. So the next one is a very popular story and cheery. Would you like to join in reading? Because it's two different voices.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh, you'll be the guy, obviously, and I'll be Annie.
All right.
Yeah, this is Annie96 is typing. I'm pretty sure. I wonder if random started this story. I wonder. I'll be shocked if random does not know this one. I would be shocked. At one point, this was
We'll find out.
yeah, this was at one point this was more popular than NES Godzilla. I have not. How have you not?
Really?
Yeah,
That's fine.
sounds familiar now. Yeah. Anyways, all right. So this is Annie96 is typing. While playing around with WhatsApp app, I stumbled across a weird chat history between two people I don't know. It scared the hell out of me. When I tried to find it again, the app crashed and kept crashing. Luckily, I managed to make a copy. Here it is. Uh, you asleep?
No. Guess you're not either.
I can't. It's the wind. Sounds like cats fighting. What's your excuse?
Studying.
So that's what they call porn now.
Annie, what the fuck?
Not denying it?
I still can't believe what Johnny did today.
Me neither. That boy has issues. What the fuck? The wind's so loud. That doesn't sound like normal, lol.
No wind over here. Just rain.
Lucky you, I need my beauty sleep.
Damn right you do.
What, you mean I look... Shit, I think I heard footsteps on the gravel outside.
Get your crazy dad to check it out.
I'm home alone. Fam are on holiday, remember? I told you this.
Really? Till when? We should hang out. What kind of idiot?
That really they really sound like footsteps, but there's something odd about them. I should look out the window, but my bed is so warm.
Sure you want to look out the window when you're alone? What if there really is someone out there in your garden looking up at you?
Not funny, David.
Whoa, chill. I'm sure it's nothing.
Gonna check. BRB.
If there's something strange in your neighborhood, oh, fucking, who you gonna call?
David, there's someone in the garden.
What, really?
Yes, I can see a man's back.
What's he doing?
He's looking for something on his hands and knees in the bushes.
Haha, he must be high. Probably looking for his drugs.
David, this is serious. What should I do?
Nothing. He'll probably go by himself.
OMG, now he's digging with his bare hands. He's ruining the garden. Shit, he's turning around.
What does he look like?
David, what the fuck? This isn't funny.
What?
How are you doing that?
What are you talking about?
I can see that it's you. In my garden. How are you writing here without touching your phone? Look up. I'm by the window. Can't you hear me banging on it?
Fuck, Annie, now you're scaring me. I'm definitely not in your garden. That's not me.
Okay. Before we continue, did that screen glitch out just for me, or...
No, no, no.
Okay, I was about to say, wait, whoa. Stop playing around. I can see your face, and you're wearing that stupid football jacket you're so proud of.
It must be someone who looks like me. Honestly, Annie, I'm at home. I wouldn't play around like that.
It has to be a friend of yours, David. Playing a sick prank. How else would he be wearing your jacket?
There are loads of jackets like that. My friends don't look anything like me. You just have you just have me on your mind.
He's digging again. Fucking leave already.
Annie, do you have a gun in your house?
Don't be stupid, David. I couldn't shoot anyone.
You don't have to use it. Just show that you're carrying.
Doesn't that jacket have your name on the back?
Yeah, the team all got one with their name on.
I can see your fucking name.
What?
What the hell is this, David?
That jacket's in my closet.
Fuck, he's seen me. Why is he smiling like that? He's coming.
Call the cops! Annie! Annie, pick up! Called the cops, told them there's a break-in attempt at your place. They said they're on their way. They'll take about half an hour. Annie, are you there?
It's in the house. Can't talk. I have to be quiet. Lights off. I'm in a closet with a knife. Hard to type, shaking too much.
Fuck, hang in there, Annie. The police will be there in 20 minutes. You know where he is?
It's not he. The look he had when he saw me, David. No person could look like that.
Jesus Christ, does it know where you are?
No, I grabbed the knife when I saw it running toward the house. And I got in a closet when I heard it breaking in.
Okay, good, you'll be fine. Druggy doesn't have the brains to find someone hiding in the closet. The police will be there soon.
Oh god, it's calling out to me. It doesn't sound like you, David. Its voice is so deep. Filling the house. Filling my head.
What is it saying?
Come out, Annie. I just want to look at you. He keeps repeating that over and over. Have I gone mad, David? Is this what that feels like?
Just 10 more minutes, Annie. Keep it together. You are so strong. You will get through this.
It's coming up the stairs, but so slowly. Irregular steps. Why does it look like you, David? Why you?
I don't know, Annie. Please believe me.
Can you make it stop? Please make it stop.
I would if I could, I promise you.
It's at the end of the hall. David, I didn't say anything to my parents when they left. I was listening to music. Is that the last time I see them?
Annie,
This has nothing to do with you, David. Only you can make it stop. Think fast.
I don't know, Annie. God, please.
Please.
It might be because I think about you so much. Think about you all the time.
So stop.
I don't know how.
It's scraping something on the walls, getting closer. Please, David.
Trying. I'm trying so hard.
It's it's slowing down. Try harder. Whatever you're doing, it's working. It stopped. I can't hear anything.
Really? Don't go out yet. Stay put until the police get there.
Should I what should I tell them if he's gone?
Everything, Annie. Tell everything you told me.
I don't know, you felt that way about me, David.
I'm so glad it stopped.
Can you come over in the morning, David? I really need to see you.
Of course, Annie, I'll be there.
Great. Can't wait.
Annie? Annie, how do you I know this is you.
Any 96 went offline.
Oh,
That's
no.
why I changed my voice. I noticed something was different. I was like, wait a minute, she's not. She's capitalizing. Yeah, but I do agree with random. A half an hour for police?
Oh, if you live in an area that's not wealthy, half an hour makes sense.
Yeah.
They will literally purposely stall to not go there. They're assholes.
So yeah, that
But
was
don't worry. Rich neighborhood calls about a black guy walking around randomly. They'll come immediately. Just
so
walking.
so yeah, you can kind of see why this is one of the more popular creepypastas.
Yeah, around I think the time you could they started to stop being Annie is when they started saying it was happening because he was thinking about her.
Mm-hmm.
A little after that, I think she was just trying to figure out a way to stop it, but like when she started saying it was slowing down, I think that was bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking into it, an active BNA takes on average 10 minutes. Damn. So yeah, you can see why this is was not popular for quite a while in creepypasta wiki. The real question is, what the fuck was that thing?
Good question.
Yeah. That's a really good question. What the fuck was it? What was the creature? Alright, anyways, on to the next story. The final Pokemon creepypasta of the night, Strangled Red. Alright. Strangled Red. There are tons of stories out there about hacked Pokemon games. Some of them are really quite neat, such as one about a version where you get a ghost as a starter. Some are ridiculous, silly stories about individuals dying after playing a game, or the game talking to them. God, don't these writers know less is more when it comes to these stories? Ah well, I digress. I grew interested in these hacked games that apparently in any thrift store on eBay or handed out by homeless people to random passerby. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting these creepy people. Merely found this particular cartridge in a trash bin when the garbage truck backed into my neighbor's dumpster. Noticed the game and asked the trash man if I could take it, and he didn't seem to mind. It was thrown away after all. I, of course, checked with my neighbor to confirm if they actually didn't want it, though they seemed perplexed as if they'd never seen it in their life. Son made a grab for it, the little boy who saw the Charizard on the cover crying out, Pokemon, I want mommy. But his mother told him no, same as I found it. He didn't even have a Game Boy anyway, he just liked Pokemon. Thinking nothing more, I suddenly went home, looking at the cartridge sticker on the way, just a plain old red version. Sticker torn slightly across the Charizard's neck. But that was expected with such an old game. I had a blue version as a kid, so I was eager to see the albeit minimal differences red version had. I was rather disappointed about what I saw when the title screen showed up. Pokemon Strangled Red version. Well, damn it, it was a hack. Hacks were neat and all, but they had zero monetary value. The original is quite valuable by now, and I wanted to play Red anyway, not this crap. Oh well, it was free, might as well try it. The name was odd, however. Strangled Red? That made no sense. Not even a morbid description of someone being asphyxiated, as people turn blue when choking, not red. Who knows, maybe there was a pair of these hacks, and I just got the red version. The more I thought about this, though, the more interested I became. My initial disappointment turned into curiosity. I wanted to know what the creator had made, and I was going to know everything I saw. The first oddity I noticed was a start screen that had a Charizard next to the trainer instead of a Charmander. Also, the Pokemon never cycled through like the original versions did. It just stayed Charizard, even after 5 minutes of waiting. Struggling, I hit start, noticing there was no Charizard cry as I did, like there was supposed to be. I saw there was a continue option, so I figured I'd do what everyone did with used games and see what the previous owner had done. No. I blinked in surprised. No? What do you mean, no? The game won't let me continue no matter what. Though, on my fourth attempt, I heard the Charizard cry, quiet, and barely audible. But there, shrugging it off, I decided to hit new game like I would have done after checking the old file anyway. The screen cut to black for a while, no Professor Oak, no starting theme, it's nothing at all. Eventually the screen came back, showing a bedroom, two beds, two TVs, and a computer in the corner. The trainer sprite was the usual one, consistent with the original red version. I was curious as to why he didn't ask my name, though that was answered as I opened the pause menu, noticing my trainer was named Steven. No, this isn't my real name or some stupid crap like that. This game isn't self-aware or haunted. At least, not that I know of. It just had a name chosen already. Curious, I saw he had a starter amount of money, no badges, he didn't look like Fred though. His hair was longer, almost reaching halfway down his back. Fred's usual smile replaced with a confident smirk. Honestly, I found the sprite much cooler than Red. Next, I changed out his Pokemon a single Charmander level 5 named Miki. Nothing odd about it, or should I say her, with the name and all. She had a beginning Charmander stats, only knew Scratch and Tail Whip, basic stuff. The game seemed relatively normal. Turning into the game, I walked about the room, noticing Steven's long hair was present at the back of my trainer's sprite, while my back was turned to the camera. I didn't recognize the house, but I descended the stairs to see more. Downstairs was another trainer who spoke to me the instant I came down. Ready yet? Hey, yeah. I assumed this Mike was my rival, pre-decided for me. A replacement of Blue, most likely, though, I thought back to the bedroom having two beds, realizing they weren't just rivals, they were brothers. They talked back and forth, basic Pokemon dialogue, become a Pokemon Master, catch 'em all, stuff like that, before having a little argument over which is better, Charmander or Squirrel, which of course led to an introduction battle, like the one versus Blue in the lab. Simple enough, scratch, tackle, scratch, tackle, so I won purely for having the first turn. I took note of how much better Steven's sprite looked in combat then. Red's a different pose, his hair looking like it was blowing in the wind, a brief minor upgrade, but still much nicer. I left the house after some more banter with my brother, stepping out to the Pallet Town theme. Going to the east, I found this was indeed Pallet Town. Houses simply on the outskirts to the west. I noted there was no mysterious grassy field like the normal Pallet Town. Wandering about, I decided to check in on Red's home. His mother was inside, and when I talked to her, she commented on how handsome Stephen looked, hoping her son would look up to him as a role model for when he became a trainer himself the next year. Which, of course, led me to realize this game took place a year before original Pokemon. Red was even upstairs, playing it as saying yes in his room, commenting, "I'm gonna be the very best too when it's my turn." I was starting to like this hack. It was interesting. A completely new adventure, a different character. Hell, Stephen even seemed to have a history with the people in his town. Reputation, a personality beyond silent protagonists. People in town talked to him as as a person. Big conversation, not just spouting tutorial crap. Even Blue Sister had new dialogue. They seemed to have a relationship too, as the dialogue ended with a kiss and a heart over her head. Professor Oak simply wished me well, giving me a Pokedex to aid my adventure. He wasn't giving it to me to be the reason behind the adventure like every other Pokemon game out there. He gave it to me out of kindness, something to help me on my way, a gift. I was liking this more and more with each second. The game seemed to have an actual story now. I was somebody, not just a cookie cutter protagonist anyone could be. Not just some blank sheet that could be replaced without notice. The story was different, though the actual gameplay remained unchanged. I went north like I was supposed to, went from town to town, collected badges, received the praise of the leaders. Stephen's fame even seemed to spread, as some NPCs would talk like they knew him. I used Miki for every battle. She was growing surprisingly fast. She handled Brock with ease, even pounded Misty with no trouble at all. She wasn't as adversely affected by super effective attacks as others. Did more damage than a regular Charmander. She was a veritable powerhouse. She even became a Charizard at the near level of 25. Not bad at all, I must say. Things started to get weird though. As soon as I reached Lavender Town, I know, Lavender Town is the focus behind every creepy story and the like. But it was the only place that was noticeably different. There's no teamwork invasion, which I found odd though. I did remember this was the year in the past, so the invasion wouldn't occur until Red's time. Trying to enter Pokemon Tower, aiming to get Ghastly, that's when it got odd. I have no reason to be here. Stephen wouldn't go into the tower no matter what I did. This was weird. I mean, hell, there are a million places can't tell you really have no need to be. Little random houses with nothing but children NPCs, for example. Why was it here that Stephen wouldn't enter? With a shrug, I figured I wouldn't need a Ghastly, seeing as Mickey could handle anything, so I simply went on my way. Library Town serving no purpose other than a passageway with a Pokemon Center. Game progressed normal from there. The remaining gems fell and eventually made my way to the floor and defeated them. As with Blue, my brother Mike was there before me, initiating the championship battle with Miki swept with ease. The aftermath of the battle was quite pleasant. None of the tension that was present between Red and Blue. At the end of the match, the brothers congratulated each other on their progress and shook hands. Before the screen went white, no Hall of Fame nor any credits, the screen came back. It was at the house again. Two brothers sitting at the computer conversing with each other. I don't want to. Come on. I just gotta borrow her for a second to finish the Pokédex. The entry won't register unless you recognize me as a master for just a second. But she's my Miki. I promise to give her back. Come on, please. Yes or no? I was a bit perplexed, so I hit no to be cautious. Come on, please. No. Come on, please. I realized I was simply continue to loop until I hit yes, so I did, just to see what would happen. Alright, let's just stay a sec, then we both be Pokemon Masters. Screen changed to an animation shown when two people trade a Pokemon, which I found a bit weird, seeing I was solo, but whatever. This was apparently supposed to happen. Miki went first. I watched Lacey as she began to travel down the train tube. Snap. That made me jump, the sudden noise resonating in my silent bedroom, loud due to the volume being way up. Looking at the screen, I noticed the game had seemed to freeze. Miki's still in mid-trade, but the game wasn't doing anything. With a sigh, I turned off the game, wondering when my last save was. When the game turned back on, I stared for a moment at the start screen. There was no Charizard next to the trainer. Upon pressing start, I saw the new game option was absent, leaving only continue. This was strange to say the least, so I selected it. The game starting without even showing my stats was as usual. My jaw dropped at what I was greeted with. 1 year later. My town theme came first, playing its normal way. The screen slowly fading in from blackness. Pokemon, but Steven was in a Pokemon tower, which made the music even stranger, seeing as the tower had its own theme. He was standing in front of himself, not doing anything. Wondering what was going on, I pressed A. Confused, I tried walking, realizing I was indeed in control at the moment. I promoted the pause menu and checked my party. Miki was gone. Not just Miki, all Pokemon. He had nothing. Pokedex was absent from the menu. His bag was empty. Honestly concerned now, I checked his trainer card. He had no money. He had no badges. His playtime was 8,795 hours, which was impossible as I had only 30 logged in before. When I was in the strangest part, his picture of the handsome, confident young trainer was different. His eyes were blank, his face turned slightly down. That smirk of his was gone, replaced by a lack of any expression at all. That long hair of his, before a perfect perm, was now messy and unkempt. I couldn't look at him anymore. Closing the menu, I went to move out of the tower, but with every step it took away from the tombstone, the screen flickered, like it did when a Pokemon was poisoned. Hoping I brought up the trainer card again, his picture was getting worse. Every step I took, he hung his head more and more. His shoulders slumped, he bent over. By the time I exited the tower, he was on his knees, hands to his face, hair draped across him. I guess already what was going on, but this clinch, clinched, clinched it. I began to put some things together in my mind. I always wondered why there was no champion in original games besides your rival. Why is it you, the protagonist, had to be your rival when he just waltzed in? No previous champion the challenge. And it struck me the answer was right here. The previous champion gave up. His precious Miki had apparently died. And with her, oh wait, his precious Miki was apparently dead. And with her, so died part of him. Pokedex, the other Pokemon, his badges, his fame, all of it, he threw it away. And that year that I missed, the year where all those hours came from, I even did the math. There's 870,765 hours in a year. And add to my 30 from before, and it matched up. Even so, the game kept going. This should have been the ending, I thought. I mean, what else was there to do? No Pokédex, no Pokemon, not anything. What was I supposed to be doing? I talked to everyone in town, but they all said similar things. Are you okay? Someone I see. Everything will be alright. Please, is there anything we can do? Stephen never replied to them, and they all simply said the same things over and over. I couldn't put the game down now. This was all so strange. Curious, I headed off into the tall grass, eventually got into a battle with a Rattata. No Pokemon was sent out, just Steven's Sprite. I was wondering how I battled. While Rattata left me, the battle ended without anything happening. This is certainly interesting. It happened with every Pokemon I encountered. Wild Pidgey ignored you, while Ponyta wandered off. Music never changed either. No matter where I went, louder town came from speakers. Following me sometimes slowed down slightly, sometimes not. I searched everywhere, every town, talked to everybody, wondering just what the hell I needed to do. My frustration was mixed in with the depressing atmosphere of all of this, making the experience altogether unnerving and uncomfortable. But I couldn't tear myself away. I started to get a bit angry though. Nobody telling me anything besides giving me their condolences and trying to give me items like lemonade or coffee, each met with no. I slapped myself for curiosity, suddenly realizing how the likely answer was right in front of me. Talent Town, of course. When I went there, though, it took me a long time having to walk, no Pokemon to fly with, no bicycle to ride, and Steven only seemed to move half the regular movement speed. It wasn't much difference. I first tried talking to Professor Oak. These things happen. You were just unlucky. Next, I tried Blue's sister. Please, don't leave home again. Red's mom wouldn't even talk to me at all. With nowhere else in mind to go, I walked out of west, finding a house from the beginning, which I had never entered since leaving Pallet Town. Inside was Mike, but talking to him was just as useless. I'm so sorry. I pondered for a moment if was really the ending. Stephen doomed to do nothing but roam Kanto in misery, haunted by the memories, forced to listen to everyone's concerns about him. As a last-ditch effort to do anything, I went to the bedroom and walked over to the bed. I'm going to sleep. Screen faded to black for a moment, but then slowly faded back in. The world having a black tint to it. When I sprang laying on the other bed, I assumed this meant it was night. I'm going to do it. Do what? Again, I had no idea. I tried inspecting everything in the room. Nothing happened. As soon as I left the house, another dialogue. It can bring her back. It can do anything. What in the hell was it? Something that could do anything. I couldn't do for the life of me figuring it out. Wondering about it, I tried to leave Countdown the usual way. Not that way. If I wouldn't go any further, I tried the hose. Screw them. I squirted my eyebrow at that, forgetting for a moment this was not a real Pokemon game. Vulgarity just took me off guard. I continued to look around, but there was nothing I could go. Nowhere I could go. So I accidentally stepped on the ocean. Steven walked right in, only the upper half of his sprite visible. As soon as you entered in the Cerulean Gym, I didn't know he could swim. Missing one. Missing one. I paused for a moment. No, he couldn't possibly mean that I hadn't tried the missing no trick on his head yet, but it just fits too well. It has to be what he meant. I surfed all the way towards Cinnabar. I began to feel something was off, more so than this already was silence. Flower Town theme had stopped. There was no noise at all, nor were there any Pokemon. I just kept going, finding Cinnabar and surfing up and down the East Coast, to and behind. While Missing No appeared, I. While Missing No was caught. What the hell? Steven didn't do anything. He just commanded an atrocity of broken data to join him. Join his possession, and it did. I was getting more and more disturbed by this all. Checking the start menu, I saw Missing No was not in my party, but instead an item, making things even stranger. Check the trainer card as well. Steven has his back to me. His long hair draped behind him, his hands in his pockets, nothing else. Remembering what he said at the start of this night, I realized what I had to do. I surfed to land and made my way northwest to, where else? Lavender Town. Along the way, I noticed all the trainers, oddly still out at this hour. I wouldn't look at Steven, all of them turning when he passed. Even those that were no longer static, I tried talking to one of the officers in the guardhouse type buildings. Just go. They all said the same thing, then one sent chills down my spine. Sometimes that is best. My hands are sweating by this point. Stephen was about to try the impossible, something some would see as a crime against nature, which many of these people shared that opinion. I still myself, it's just a game, and it was going to complete it. It took an eternity to reach Court Tower, and I got there eventually, taking a deep breath and heading toward the tombstone. I remembered which one the image of Stephen standing before it was burned into the mind after all. First, I tried inspecting it. Stephen. Miki. Nothing happened. The I opened the menu and tried Missing No from the bag. Steven, don't use it. Wait, wrong voice. Steven. Don't use it. I was wondering when Professor Oak would magically tell you that you couldn't use a key item somewhere like when using a bicycle in a building. Now, the message this time was a different, even worse. Stephen responded to it. The word that cheated me. Why should anyone play fair? Stephen used it. Stephen obtained redacted. Hold on, what was that? Stephen obtained redacted. What in God's name did I obtain? I couldn't tell you because the game took away my control. Without my input, Stephen began to leave the tower on his own. Walking single step by single step, Nightmare Town theme started again as he left the tower and began his excruciatingly slow journey against my will. Every time he crossed one of the borders where the music would change, it got progressively slower, more and more disturbing. By the time he reached Sterling City, it was a demonic rumbling. I just stared, watching him trying to guess where he was going. But it was getting more and more obvious. He was heading to Pallet Town. Music had all but stopped when he got there, playing single note by single note. He went exactly where I had guessed. Right to his own house. Inside and look up the stairs. At this point, there was no music. Stephen moved step by step, stopping at his brother's bed, turning to face him. At first, I thought the game froze. Didn't do anything. Simply stood there, and I couldn't move him. I did, however, find out I could move the pause menu. I was terrified to look, but I couldn't stop myself. I selected his trainer card. There's a low growl sound, like a distorted Pokemon cry. Stephen was looking at me, directly at the screen. He was hunched over, his bangs obscuring his face. His hair was wild. It feathered out. Between his bangs, there wasn't even a face at all, just blank, two red eyes looking straight toward a white grin, pressing in darkness. That wasn't all. His name was now S exclamation mark 3V 3N. I couldn't look away, my eyes glued to his, not breaking contact for some time. My vision was getting blurred until I couldn't see very well. My face grew wet. I was crying like a baby. There's nothing I could do to hold back the tears. I was with this boy from the start. I built him up to greatness, and was then forced to watch his decline after a tragic event. After a tragic accident, and now it was this. This thing, this abomination. Watch him go insane. Holding my tears, wiping my eyes, I closed out to the trainer card and tried to save the game. Wanting to just quit, the game informed me this was impossible. Nothing can be saved now. The pause menu wouldn't choose no matter what I did. No option menu. I checked the bag, nothing happened. I checked the Pokemon, and it was one. A single sprite met me. It had 0 HP, its status dead. Its name redacted. I selected it, and I was greeted with 4 options. Status, it's her. Switch, never. Close, no. Strangle. My fingers shaking, I selected strangle, and the menu closed, showing Stephen in the room again. Goodbye. Snap. The game shut itself off. I was more dumbfounded than frightened. In a bit of shock, I turned it back on. No screen showing an maniac Steven and a horribly glitched Charizard. I pressed start, then continue. All I saw was a zoomed out view of town showing Steven's home to the west. Tall grass surrounding it, there's immovable stones blocking it from the rest of the town. The image was completely static, no music, no movement, or fading to white, going back to the title screen. It was as if it had been when I first popped it in. A trainer and a Charizard, I attempted to hit continue. No. That's it, a strangled red.
That's pretty dark.
Yeah, a lot longer than I thought it was. Twitch has been banned. See, I didn't ban Twitch yet. It's just that Sunday streams will be creepypasta and horror story readings. Um, Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna save these for next week because I think I only got one more in me. I'm tired from work, and I think this one's short. The last one of the night. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. God's mouth. I huffed and puffed under my breath as I stared into God's mouth. I felt like the big bad wolf, ready to interrupt the three innocent little pigs as they hurriedly fortified their makeshift homes. I grinned at this thought, and then turned my head to look for Margaret. She was a couple of feet down the hill from the entrance of the cave, holding a walking stick close to her petite breast. Hurry up! I, I, oh wait. Hurry up! I called down to her. I turned back to the cave, still grinning. An old rotted sign outside read, God's mouth. Cave. Keep out. What a tired cliche. Margaret finally made it to the entrance and stood beside me. Almost stumbled over and out of breath. I looked down and smiled. Check it out. I laughed. God's mouth. Wonder where Jesus' anus is. I chuckled to myself. Margaret was less amused. You need a damn water bottle. You said, exasperated. I met her lips for moments. I felt peaceful in a way, watching her drink it. Actually, I take that back. Peaceful comments. I mean, it was more of a feeling that was sort of hard to put my finger on or give a name. But I could sell for a nice content. Content seemed to be one of those words that manifests itself when natural. When natural. Even words seem to fail. Or what content. Again, an utter cliche, but it felt good to feel a strange, mixed up sort of happy for once. I sighed and turned my flashlight on, then pointed it into the cave. Black. God's mouth. It seemed like the antithesis of a Holy Spirit. I turned again to Margaret. You ready? I asked. She was finally standing straight up. She nodded. I put a friendly hand to her back, and we walked into God's mouth. Inside was not unlike the preview I had glimpsed outside with my flashlight. Dark, dismal, and endlessly black. It seemed to stretch on forever, no matter how I positioned my flashlight, and the rocky terrain was damp and imposing. The last natural light slowly disappeared behind Margaret and I as we made our way deeper and deeper inside. I found it strange how soft and compelling the world around me now appeared, despite the stalagmites, and other rocky formations being so jagged. It seemed that even amongst the pointed teeth of God, I could lay down and rest there forever. It was comfortable. Apparently, Margaret didn't agree. She shivered uncomfortably under my arm. I raised my eyebrows. Need your coat? I asked. I tried to look at her and make non-verbal communication as explicit as possible until I realized that we were lost inky blackness of the mouth. I bit my lip and waited, but she didn't respond. For a couple of minutes we walked in silence. Then she stopped and stood motionless. I stopped too. Why the hell are we even in here? She said. She sounded irritated. I shrugged. More to appease myself than her, and shoved my flashlight under my face. The lighted shadows obscured half of it, and the other half illuminated the wretched mass. Spooky. I cried, chuckling. She didn't move. I sighed. I thought you wanted to go. I said. I noticed how my voice echoed across the cave walls at any volume. I mean, I began again, scratching at my chin. You did say you wanted to see some nature for a vacation, and you did sound impressed when I told you about my visit to Mammoth Caves a couple years ago. My voice trailed off, and I could still sense her irritation. No, she said. I frowned. No, you wanted to go here. I wanted to go to the beach or something, but no, a cave, Nathan. Sound like the big bad wolf now. I know they have a weird fetish for spelunky or something, but I don't really want to be dragged into it. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to go on a trip and get into nature and fresh air, but this? I could hear her arms flare and just her about in the thick air. This is cave air, not fresh air. This air is practically fermenting. Isn't this illegal? Can we just leave? Please just leave. We both stood there. The only sound that could be heard was electricity in the air being stifled and smothered by the damp atmosphere. Finally, I began to walk. I didn't hear Margaret follow me, but I kept moving forward. And Nathan, she said, please stop. Stop, please stop. So I stopped. I'm sorry. She said. I could hear her moving closer to me. I'm tired. I'm not used to running or climbing around in the. I'm like, just tired. It's okay. I said. She gripped my arm. Really, it's fine. Shook my head. Which way is out? I don't remember. I could feel Margaret physically pause. Neither of us could remember. Somehow the confusion of our argument I'd forgotten which way we had been moving. Idiot, I thought to myself. I should have brought a goddamn rope or something to trail from the entrance. I had to take action, so without much thought, I turned 180 degrees and said, this way. We walked for what seemed to be hours. My feet were tired and sore, and I could hear Margaret's groans from behind me. She held my hand tightly. I felt terrible. This was my fault. And I froze. Hey, I said. Put your hand down. Feel this rock. I could hear Margaret's bare palm pressed against the stone. Isn't this, like, abnormally warm? I said. She didn't say anything. I began to work my way along the wall, feeling it as I went. Shining the flashlight in front of me, suddenly I felt a sharp pain in my head. The sound of God's mouth met with my scalp. Oh, shit. I, sh- I shouted. Oh, Nathan, are you okay? Margaret asked. She seemed on the verge of panic now. I'm fine, I said. Please calm down. We'll get out of here soon, I promise. I started again, pointing my flashlight upwards now to see the ceiling above me. It seemed to be getting narrower. That was strange. Listen up, Margaret, babe. I said through clenched teeth. I think we gotta turn around. Margaret sighed next to me. Again, we walked in for a decent length. I kept my flashlight pointed towards this time. Sure enough, the space in the cave seemed to become smaller and smaller. If there's any resonating light left in God's mouth, aside from my flashlight, I'm sure Margaret would have been able to see the whites of my eyes. Spreading in panic, we were completely lost. I let go of Margaret's hand and began to fiercely feel my way along the walls. No, Nathan! I heard her shout. I kept going. We had to get out. If we were lost, nobody would be able to find us. I fell along the wall until I abruptly hit a corner. Fuck! I said aloud. Margaret, this seems to be a dead end. I spun around on my heel. Margaret. No answer. Shit. I began to repeat my process again, almost running as I felt the wall run past my fingertips. Cold, damp rocks and jagged spears. Suddenly I found myself at a corner again. Fuck, fuck, fuck. I shouted, Margaret. I was belting her name out now. In the corner of the King's Mall, where I had been thwarted so many times already, I heard a noise. It sounded like muffled static from a television. I pressed my ear against the rock. It seemed to be getting even warmer now. I heard the faint sounds of Margaret on the other side of the rock. She was screaming. No, no, no. No, 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 no. I began running haphazardly into walls around me. Like dawning realization came a wave of sheer horror. There was no entrance. There was no exit. Only these four corners and me. I could feel blood begin to trickle from the cut I managed to get by bashing my head into the cave's walls. They were closing in on me. They were coming in for the kill, and soon they would be pressing in on my skull and crushing my ribcage. I sat there for hours waiting for death. Flashlight was becoming dim and blinking. Finally, I felt the soft touch of these rocky walls pressed against my back. I began to cry as I lay down on the ground. I let my flashlight roll on the small hills of stone. As I quietly stayed prone, tears dripping down my face. I turned and looked at it. Its blaspheming beads of light pointed at something not far from my face. Squinted in the darkness, my eyes widened, and I felt tears fall even harder from my face. The rocks were piercing my skin now, the blood dripping on all sides. There, in the last light of my flashlight, was the appetizer. The spotlight shone on a hand whose nails were painted red, and I screamed in agony as I watched. God's mouth chew its latest meal. That's the last creepypasta of the night.
And just remember, real spelunking is legitimately dangerous, so just leave it to the professionals.
Yeah.
Although real caves don't eat you. Real caves do not eat you. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. So yeah, that's gonna be another stream tonight. I didn't expect to get so damn tired. We did go through a couple of them. Went through 5. Hopefully next week we can do more than 5. Yeah, Jerry, which one was your favorite tonight?
I'm bad at picking.
So Jerry doesn't have a favorite.
Sorry.
It's fun. I'm tired too. This is right out. Yeah. So, Random, since you were here for majority of the stream, which one was your favorite? Yeah, well, I went for Random. Jerry, do your last words.
And remember, if you think things have changed and got better, I will tell you, headline I'm reading right now is The Alarming Rise of Black People Found Hanging but Ruled as Suicide.
Damn. Random like the texting one. Oh, Annie96. Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah. So. Yeah, anyways, Danger Channels, tomorrow will be indie horror games, which will get back on Twitch. Jerry, if they feel inclined, they can join me in on it. I'll be in VC. If they want to join in on me doing it. Where I play a bunch of indie horror games. It's up.
Fun.
It's up to them. I mean, the first indie horror game will be the first Garden of Banban game, because apparently they added a bunch of free shit to it. It made it look better somehow. I don't know how you can make that game look better, but they somehow said they did. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Right, Thierry?
Yeah.
Anyways, Danger Now. So yeah, I also post my schedule tomorrow as well. Also, for those who are in this Discord server, August 29th is movie night. I will not be streaming. Yeah.
And this Sunday, I will be turning 40.
Oh, damn.
No, it's Monday. Yeah, Monday.
Oh, Monday.
So next Monday, 31st.
We have to do a birthday stream for you, Jerry.
What?
You heard me.
Why?
Because it's your birthday.
I'm only saying it because 40 is a rounded number.
Yeah, well, next Monday we're doing a birthday stream. Deal with it, bitch.
You little fucking shit.
We can probably we'll probably like place maybe Gartic Phone or something along those lines. Or
Fair
Scribbio.
enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, good night, Danger Owls. I'm so goddamn tired.
Go to sleep.
I hate narcolepsy. Narcolepsy can suck my fucking cock. I hate extra long cock.
You will always lose against narcolepsy. That's why you take medication.
A frog outside can suck my fucking cock.
Cameron!
Anyways, good night, Danger
That's
Owls.
not what frogs do!
For now. Anyway.